There is a silence that is heavier than stone. It is not merely the absence of sound. It is the absence of time. It is the deep, suffocating stillness that fills the gaps between the stars. We are accustomed to noise. Our world is a vibration of engines, of voices, of winds shifting through the trees. But here, in the great velvet expanse, there is only the waiting. Close your eyes. Let the static of the day dissolve into a fine grey mist. Let the floor beneath you soften. You are no longer held by gravity. You are unmoored. You are drifting upward, past the roof, past the clouds, past the thin blue halo of the atmosphere. The cold greets you. It is not a harsh cold. It is a clarifying cold. It numbs the worry. It quiets the racing mind. We are going back. We are traveling against the current of the river of time. We are seeking the beginning. For decades, we looked up at the night sky and saw only the mature universe. We saw galaxies that were grown, majestic spirals glittering like grand cities in the dark. We saw stars that had burned for billions of years, steady and calm. We assumed the universe had always been orderly. We assumed that the monsters came late. We thought that black holes, those architects of gravity, grew slowly, like old trees adding rings over the eons. We believed they were the ending, not the beginning. We were wrong. There is a machine floating in the eternal night, a golden eye unfolded like an origami flower, hanging in the shadow of the earth. It looks where we could not look before. It peers through the dust. It stares into the deepest, oldest abyss. It is the James Webb Space Telescope, and it has changed the texture of our dreams. It pointed its mirror at a patch of sky that seemed empty, a void, a nothingness, and it left the shutter open. It gathered the faint, weary photons that had been traveling since the dawn of time. Light that is billions of years old. Light that has stretched and tired as it crossed the expanding cosmos, shifting into the infrared. And when the image came back, the darkness was not empty. It was crowded, dotted across the deep fields in the surveys we call jades and seers. There were tiny specks. To the untrained eye, they looked innocent, just faint smudges of crimson light. Astronomers began to call them the little red dots, a cute name, a harmless name. They looked like dying embers in a fireplace. But the universe does not do cute. When we looked closer, analyzing the spectrum of that ancient light, the innocence vanished. These were not small, quiet galaxies. They were not calm nurseries of young stars. They were screaming. The light was too bright. It was too concentrated. It was coming from a region so small, yet it outshone the billions of stars around it. These little red dots were not stars at all. They were mouths. We had found hidden black holes, but not just any black holes. These were monsters. And they were in the wrong place. They were in the wrong time. Imagine walking into a nursery. You expect to see infants. You expect to see fragility. You expect smallness. But instead, sitting in the cradle, you find a fully grown giant, a titan, ancient and heavy. This is the shock that rippled through the scientific world in the mid-2020s. We found overmassive black holes at redshift Z greater than 10. That number, Z greater than 10, is a coordinate in time. It means we are looking back to within the first few 100 million years of the universe, a time when the cosmos should have been a toddler, a time when galaxies were just wisps of gas, tiny and fragile. By all the laws of physics we thought we knew, black holes should have been tiny seeds back then. They should have been roughly the mass of a single sun, perhaps 10 suns. They should have needed billions of years of feeding, billions of years of merging to grow into the supermassive giants we see in the center of our own galaxy today. But the giants are already there, in the dawn. They are fully formed. They are millions, sometimes billions of times the mass of our sun. And they are sitting inside galaxies that are mere specks of dust. It is a paradox of scale. In our local universe, a black hole is a tiny fraction of its galaxy's mass, a gentle giant sleeping in the center. But in these little red dots, the black hole is a tyrant. It is huge compared to its host. It is as if the galaxy exists only to feed it. Drift closer to one of them now. Let your mind float across the light years. The darkness here is thick. It is the early universe. The fog of neutral hydrogen has not yet fully cleared. The stars are few and far between, burning with a fierce, bluish-white intensity. But we are not looking at the stars. We are drawn to the center, to the red eye. It is shrouded in dust. This is why we missed them for so long. They are obscured active galactic nuclei. They are hiding their gluttony behind thick curtains of gas and soot. The visible light cannot escape. But the infrared heat, the glow of the feeding, leaks through. It feels primal here. There is a sense of urgency. The universe is not cold and dead in this epoch. It is hot, it is turbulent, it is violent. The black hole is not sleeping. It is feasting. Matter is pouring into it. Great rivers of gas spiraling down into the abyss. The friction is unimaginable. The gas heats up as it falls, shining brighter than 1 trillion suns. It screams as it crosses the horizon. We call this super Eddington accretion. There is a limit, you see, a speed limit to how fast a black hole can eat. If it eats too fast, the radiation from the hot gas pushes the food away. It chokes on its own gluttony. That is the Eddington limit. It is a rule of balance. Gravity pulls in, light pushes out. But these ancient monsters, they do not care for our rules. They are breaking the limit. They are gorging themselves. They are swallowing matter faster than physics says they should. They are growing at exponential rates. It is a feeding frenzy in the dark. Why? Why is the universe so hungry so soon? It is a question that haunts the edges of sleep. It suggests that the cosmos was born with a hunger, that the darkness was not passive, it was active, it was waiting. Float in the suspension of this thought. You are safe here. You are just a ghost witnessing the dawn. You are invisible. The radiation passes through you. The gravity does not hold you. You are watching the machinery of the cosmos in its rawest form. There is a beauty in this terror. The little red dots are like rubies scattered on black velvet. They are the lighthouses of the early dark ages. Without them, perhaps we would not be here. We used to think of black holes as destroyers, vacuums that clean up the debris. But seeing them here, so early, so big, we begin to wonder if they are the creators. Did the galaxy form the black hole? Or did the black hole summon the galaxy? It is the chicken and the egg, played out on a canvas of 1 billion light years. Perhaps the black hole came first, a dark seed planted in the fabric of space-time, its gravity reaching out like invisible fingers, pulling the gas together, gathering the wool of the universe to spin the first stars. It changes how we feel about our own origins. We are not just stardust. We are the leftovers of a great feast. We exist in the quiet eddies of a turbulent river that flowed from these mouths. Let your breathing slow down. Match the rhythm of the expansion, in and out. The universe is expanding, stretching. The space between you and that red dot is growing. we are drifting further into the mystery. The sheer number of them is what keeps the astronomers awake. If it were just one, we could call it a freak, an anomaly, a cosmic accident. But the James Webb Telescope keeps finding them everywhere it looks, in every deep patch of sky. They are common. They are a population, a society of giants living in the dark. And they are hidden. We see the red dots, yes, but for every one we see, how many are turned away? How many are buried so deep in the dust that not even the infrared can escape? It is crowded with hunger. Imagine the early universe not as a pristine, empty field, but as a forest at night. You can only see the eyes that reflect your torchlight, but you know the forest is full. You can feel the presence of the others. The little red dots are just the ones that blinked. There is a specific feeling that comes with this knowledge. It is the feeling of the sublime, the mixture of awe and smallness. To know that the universe was never empty. It was never waiting for us. It was busy. It was violent. It was alive with a dark, consuming energy long before the first planet cooled. We look at the redshift. We measure the spectrum. We see the chemical fingerprints of heavy elements. Carbon, oxygen, iron. Wait, think about that. Heavy elements. In the dawn of time, these elements are forged in the hearts of dying stars. They take millions of years to create. They are the ash of the stellar fire. To see them swirling around these ancient black holes means that generations of stars had already lived and died. Time seems to compress. The history of the universe is not a long, slow novel. It is a sudden explosion of events. Everything happening at once. Birth, death, feeding, growing. The black hole sits in the center of this storm. It is the eye, unmoving, unblinking. It draws the iron and the oxygen into its disk. It spins them, it heats them, it weaves them into a glowing ring of fire. And then it swallows them. You can feel the gravity if you focus. Not a pulling on your body, but a pulling on your mind. A heaviness. Gravity is the curvature of space. It is the bending of the fabric. These overmassive black holes are like heavy stones placed on a taut sheet. They create deep wells, deep valleys in the topography of the cosmos. And we are looking down into those wells. The light struggles to climb out. It loses energy as it climbs. It reddens. It tires. By the time it reaches the mirrors of our telescope, millions of years later, it is a whisper, a ghost of a scream. We capture it, we amplify it, we turn it into a picture, a little red dot, and we stare at it on our screens, safe in our quiet solar system, safe in our mature, calm galaxy. We stare at the monster and we wonder, how did you get so big? How did you eat so much so fast? It is the problem of the seeds. You see, to build a giant, you must start with something. You cannot build a mountain out of nothing. You need a pebble, a rock, a boulder. We thought the seeds were small, the remnants of the very first stars. We call them population 3 stars. Hypothetical, pure, massive stars made only of hydrogen and helium. When they died, they should have left behind small black holes, 10 times the mass of the sun. But if you start with 10 solar masses, even if you eat constantly, even if you never stop for a breath, you cannot reach 1 billion solar masses in just a few 100 million years. The math does not work. There is not enough time. It is like trying to fill an ocean with a teaspoon. So the universe is hiding a secret, a shortcut. There must be another way, a darker path. Perhaps the seeds were not small. Perhaps they were born heavy. We call this direct collapse. Imagine a cloud of gas, a primal cloud, pristine, untouched. It is so vast that it collapses under its own weight. But it does not fragment into stars. It does not break apart. It falls inward, all of it, at once. It bypasses the star stage entirely. It never lights up. It never fuses hydrogen. It simply falls. It implodes into darkness. A black hole is born that is already 100,000 times the mass of the Sun. A heavy seed, a titan from birth. This is the whisper that is circulating in the quiet rooms of observatories, that the early universe was capable of birthing giants directly from the void. If this is true, then the darkness is even more potent than we imagined. It means that gravity can win instantly. It does not need to wait for stars to live and die. It can simply crush existence into a singularity. But even this theory is just a guess, a candle held up in a vast cavern. The little red dots do not speak. They only glow. They watch us. The distance between us and them is not just space. It is an abyss of time. When we look at them, we are looking at ghosts. Those black holes, as we see them now, do not exist anymore. They have grown even larger. They have merged. They have moved. They might be the grandfathers of the black hole in our own galaxy. We are looking at our own ancestry, a lineage of darkness. Feel the rotation of the Earth. It carries you eastward at 1,000 miles an hour. You don't feel it, but you know it is there. In the same way, you don't feel the expansion of the universe, but it is happening. Every second, the space between galaxies widens. The dark gets bigger, and in that widening dark, the monsters are drifting. The James Webb Telescope is just the beginning. It is the scout. Soon, in the coming years, other eyes will open. Machines named Euclid and Roman. They will join the hunt. They will scan wider swathes of the sky. They will look for the hidden ones, because we know they are there. The math demands it. The gravity demands it. There is a sense of being surrounded, not by enemies, but by mystery. The cosmos is not a flat, predictable machine. It is a deep ocean, and we are floating on the surface. Looking down, we see shapes moving in the deep water, shadows, glimmers of red bioluminescence. We realize that the ocean is inhabited. It is a humbling thought, to be latecomers to the party, to realize that the feasting began long before we arrived. The little red dots are the leftovers of that first banquet. Think of the energy being released. We talk about black holes being dark, but the matter falling into them is the brightest thing in the universe. Quasars, blazars, beacons that outshine entire galaxies. But these ones, these early ones, they are smothered. They are eating under a blanket of dust. It makes it intimate, secretive, like a heart beating under thick winter clothes. You can't see the beat, but if you put your hand close, you can feel the warmth. That is what the infrared is. The warmth of the hidden heart, the warmth of the friction, the heat of the doom. Matter spirals in, it rubs against itself, it glows, and then it vanishes. It crosses the line of no return. The event horizon, the point where the river goes over the waterfall. The water falls, but it never hits the bottom. It just keeps falling, forever. Inside the black hole, time swaps places with space. The future becomes a direction. A literal direction you can point to. And that direction is down, toward the center, toward the singularity. These little red dots contain that geometry. They contain the end of time, and they are scattered everywhere in the beginning of time. A paradox. The end is stitched into the beginning. It makes the head swim. It makes the eyelids heavy. Let the heaviness take you. It is okay. You do not need to solve the equations tonight. The equations will wait. The universe will wait. It has nowhere else to go. It has been waiting for 13.8 billion years. Just drift. Drift past the dust clouds. Drift past the young blue stars. Drift toward the red glow. Do not be afraid. You are consciousness without mass. You can go where the light cannot. You can enter the cloud. Inside the cloud, it is turbulent. The gas is thick. It swirls like a storm. But in the center, there is a calm point, a black sphere, perfect, absolute. It is the silhouette of the void, and around it, the ring of fire, the accretion disk. It spins so fast, near the speed of light. It drags the space around it, frame dragging. The fabric of the universe is twisted like toffee around the spinning giant. This is the engine of the early cosmos. This is what lit up the dark ages. Before there were enough stars to ryanize the universe, there were these monsters, vomiting radiation, clearing the fog. They were the gardeners, violent, hungry gardeners, pruning the galaxies, heating the gas so that stars could not form too fast. We call this black hole feedback. It is a relationship, a dance. The black hole eats the galaxy, but the black hole also protects the galaxy. It stops it from burning itself out too quickly. It is a balance struck in the dark. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. That is the story of the teenage universe. Here, in the dawn, we are still staring at the baby monsters, the overmassive infants. The mystery of their weight presses down on us. How? How did you become so heavy? Did you eat your brothers? Did you merge with others in the dark? Or were you born this way? There is a theory that the universe itself was once a black hole, that we are living inside one. It is a thought that comes at 3 a.m. If we are inside a black hole, then what are these little red dots? Are they holes within a hole? Dimensions folded within dimensions. The mind struggles to hold the scale. It slips. That slipping feeling, that is the edge of sleep. That is the edge of the event horizon. Let yourself slip. The red light is soft now. It is not angry. It is just old. So old. It has seen everything. It has seen the first atom form. It has seen the first light escape. It is a witness. And now, you are a witness too. You have seen the hidden things. You have looked into the cradle and seen the giant eyes staring back. The little red dots, the keys to the locked room of history. We thought we knew the story. Big Bang, cooling, dark ages, stars, galaxies. But the story has changed. Big Bang, cooling. And then, the heavy shadows. The shadows that were there before the light. It changes the feeling of the night sky. When you look up, you are not looking at a serene tapestry. You are looking at a veil. And behind the veil, the feast continues. The eating never stops. The gravity never sleeps. It pulls. It pulls the gas. It pulls the dust. It pulls the light. It pulls your thoughts. Slowly, gently, into the dark. We are drifting away from the red dot now, moving back into the intergalactic void. The silence returns, but it is different now. The silence is not empty. We know what is hiding in it. We know that the dawn was not quiet. It was a time of giants. And as we float here, suspended between the galaxies, we begin to feel a new sensation. Not a pull from the front, but a push. Something is pushing the galaxies apart, but there is also something pulling them together. A web, a cosmic web, strands of dark matter, invisible highways, and at the intersections of these highways, they wait. The spiders in the web, the seeds. We have seen the red dots. But what came before the dots? what happened in the very first moment, when the gas first began to fall. The mystery deepens. The curtain lifts only to reveal another curtain. We are traveling deeper, past the redshift of 10, past the redshift of 15, into the era of the first collapse. The light is fading. The red turns to black. We are entering the true dark, the place where the monsters were born. And there, in the absolute shadow, something moves. It moves not with the clumsy speed of a creature, but with the inevitable slide of a shadow lengthening at dusk. In the deep, pre-galactic dark, movement is not about shifting from place to place. It is about shifting from potential to reality. It is a change of state, a collapsing of possibility into a singular, crushing point. We are witnessing the birth of the heaviness. Drift deeper into this cloud. You are now inside the womb of the early universe. The silence here is different. It is thick. It is pregnant with a violence that has not yet happened. Around you, there is only gas, endless, pristine rivers of hydrogen and helium. It is the only material the universe owns. There is no iron to make a planet core, no carbon to make a diamond, no oxygen to fill a lung. There is only the simplest, lightest stuff of existence, but there is so much of it. In our time, gas is scattered. It is thin. But here, in the first epoch, the gas is crowded. It is trying to decide what to become. Usually, gravity pulls it together into small pockets, small knots that tighten and ignite into stars. The universe lights up like a city turning on its street lamps, one by one. But here, in this specific corner of the dark, something goes wrong. Or perhaps something goes perfectly right. The gas does not fragment. It does not break into a cluster of small, polite stars. It stays whole. It stays hot. It refuses to cool down. This is the secret recipe for a monster. To make a normal star, the gas must cool. It must shed its heat so it can condense. But here, bathed in the ultraviolet glow of distant neighbors, the gas is kept warm. It is kept pressurized. It cannot shatter. So it waits. It gathers. It piles up on itself, layer upon massive layer, until the weight is something that physics can no longer support. It creates an object of impossible scale. A single cloud weighing as much as 100,000 suns. It hangs there for a moment, a breathless pause in the rhythm of time. And then it gives up. It collapses, not into a star. A star would burn. A star would push back against the dark. This object is too heavy to be a star. It skips the life cycle entirely. It skips the burning. It skips the shining. It plunges directly into the abyss. We call this direct collapse. It is a term that chills the blood of those who study the cosmos. It implies a lack of struggle, a sudden, catastrophic failure of the structure of space. Imagine a mountain vanishing in the blink of an eye. One moment, it is there, vast and imposing. The next, there is only a hole. That is what happens here. The cloud implodes. It falls in on itself at speeds that mock our understanding of vast. The atoms rush toward the center, but they find no floor. They find no surface to hit. They just keep falling. The density climbs to infinity. The space wraps around them like a shroud. And in a single heartbeat, a black hole is born. But this is not the small, stellar mass black hole we are used to. It is not the corpse of a dead sun. It is a seed, but it is a heavy seed. It is born weighing 100,000 times the mass of the sun. It enters the universe already a giant. It enters the game with a head start that nothing else can catch. The debate has raged for years in the quiet halls of universities. Did the monsters start small, as population 3 stars, and eat their way up? Or did they cheat? Did they start big? Here, in the dark, watching the direct collapse, we feel the answer. The universe is impatient. It does not like to wait for the slow accretion of millions of years. It cheats. It folds the deck. It creates the king directly from the void. Now, the monster exists. It is there, a sphere of absolute rejection. But existence is not enough. It has a hunger that is encoded into its very geometry. To exist is to eat, and the food is everywhere. The gas that did not collapse is still there, swirling around the train. It begins to spiral. It begins the long, bright fall. This is where the second mystery begins, the mystery of the speed limit. In our physics, there is a rule called the Eddington limit. It is a courteous rule. It says a black hole can only eat so much so fast. If it eats too quickly, the food gets hot. The radiation pressure blows the rest of the meal away. It is a self-regulating system, a balance between gravity pulling in and light pushing out. But the early universe is not courteous, and these black holes are not following the rules. They are breaking the limit. They are engaging in what we whisperingly call super Eddington accretion. It is a feeding frenzy. Imagine a dam breaking. The water does not flow politely through the turbines. It crashes over the top. It destroys the banks. It overwhelms the channel. That is what is happening to the gas here. The black hole is swallowing matter faster than the light can push it away. The gas is so thick, so dense, that the radiation gets trapped. The photons cannot escape to push back. They are dragged down with the flow. The accretion disk, that glowing ring of doom, swells up. It is no longer a thin, elegant frisbee. It becomes a chaotic, donut-shaped storm, a thick torus of fire. The efficiency is terrifying. The black hole doubles its mass in a blink of cosmic time. It goes from 100,000 suns to 1 million, from 1 million to 10 million. It grows like a cancer in the night. And the most unsettling part, you would not see it. If you were floating a few thousand light years away, looking for this monster, you might see nothing. You might see only a cold, dark cloud, because the feeding is messy. It is dirty. The gluttony kicks up dust, great walls of soot and carbon and silicate, the waste of the galaxy. This is the concept of the obscured AGN, the hidden active galactic nucleus. The monster creates its own curtain. It wraps itself in a cocoon of dust. It hides its face while it eats. This is why we missed them for so long. We were looking for bright lights. We were looking for the quasars that shine like beacons. And we found them later in time. But here, in the dawn, the monsters are shy. They are buried. They are the little red dots we spoke of. But now we understand why they are red. They are red because the blue light, the white light, the screaming X-rays, they are all trapped inside the cocoon. Only the heat escapes. The long, slow waves of infrared light seep through the dust, carrying the news of the feast to the outside world. It creates a sensation of claustrophobia. We are used to space being open, transparent. But here, around the black hole, space is foggy. It is choked with debris. You are drifting through a blizzard of grey dust. You cannot see your hand in front of your face, but you can feel the heat. You can hear the roar. Not sound, of course. Space has no air, but gravity creates its own noise, a rumbling in the bones, a vibration of the fabric itself. The black hole is spinning, and as it spins, it drags the dust with it. It creates a vortex. The cocoon is not a static shell. It is a living, breathing thing. It pulses. Sometimes the pressure inside gets too high. The beast burps. A jet of pure energy pierces the dust. A narrow beam of plasma, traveling at nearly the speed of light, punches a hole through the cloud. For a moment, the lighthouse sweeps the dark. But then, the dust settles. The hole closes. The feeding continues in secret. This secrecy is essential to the mood of the early cosmos. It is not a display. It is a function. The universe is building its skeleton. These black holes, these seeds that grew into supermassive giants, they are the anchors. They are the heavy weights that will hold the galaxies together. Without them, perhaps the gas would just drift forever. Perhaps the Milky Way would never have formed its spiral arms. We need the monster in the middle. We need the terror to create the order. It is a difficult thought to hold. That destruction and creation are the same thing, just viewed from different angles. Drift closer. Ignore the heat. You are a consciousness, unbound by thermodynamics. You can go where the atoms cannot. Enter the cocoon. Push through the wall of dust. Suddenly, the fog clears. You are in the cavity, the eye of the storm. And there it is, the event horizon. It is smaller than you expected. For all its mass, for all its millions of suns, the black hole itself is compact. It would fit inside the orbit of a planet, but its presence fills the sky. It is a sphere of absolute nothingness, a hole in reality. It is not black. Black is a color. This is the absence of light. It is a shape cut out of the visual field, and around it, the super Eddington flow. It is not a smooth stream. It is violent. It is turbulent. Bubbles of hot gas rise and burst. Magnetic field lines snap and reconnect, releasing flares of energy that would sterilize a solar system. It is a scene of industrial chaos. The matter is screaming as it dies, as it rubs against its neighbors, friction heating it to millions of degrees. It is crowded with hunger. The gas is pushing to get in. It is a crush, a panic at the gates of the underworld, and the black hole accepts it all. It does not judge. It does not pause. It grows. Every second, it gets heavier. Every second, its reach extends a little further into the galaxy. The galaxy itself, the host, is tiny. Remember, we are at redshift 10 or 12 or 15. The galaxies here are not grand spirals. They are irregular blobs, small, messy collections of gas and young stars. The black hole is too big for its boots. It is overmassive. It sits in the center of this small, fragile galaxy like a spider that has outgrown its web. It dominates everything. The gravity of the hole controls the motion of the stars. It controls the flow of the gas. It is a dictatorship of one. And yet, there is a strange intimacy to it. The dust cocoon holds the heat in. It keeps the region around the black hole warm. In this warmth, strange chemistry happens. Molecules form, water vapor, carbon monoxide, the ingredients for life. Perhaps, or perhaps just the ingredients for more dust. But it is crowded. The universe is not lonely here. It is congested. We often think of the expansion of the universe as a lonely process, things moving apart. But gravity fights that expansion. Gravity wants to bring things together. And here, gravity is winning. The super Eddington feeding is the victory of gravity over light. It is the victory of weight over radiation. It is the triumph of the heavy. Feel the weight in your own limbs, the heaviness of sleep. It is the same force. The same gravity that pulls the eyelids down is pulling the gas into the hole. You are connected to this monster. The iron in your blood was forged in stars, yes, but the galaxy that held those stars It was held by a black hole. You are the child of this process, but the process is hidden. Why does the universe hide its most violent acts? Why the dust? Why the cocoon? Perhaps because the naked singularity is too much to bear. Perhaps because the radiation would be too damaging to the young cosmos. The dust acts as a shield. It absorbs the deadly X-rays and re-emits them as gentle heat. The monster protects its host, even as it eats it. It is a parasitic relationship, but also a symbiotic one. The little red dots are the heat lamps of the infant universe. They keep the gas warm, drift in the warmth. The infrared light is soft. It does not sting. It wraps around you like a blanket. You are floating in the exhaust of a creation engine. The pacing of the feeding is rhythmic. It is not a steady hum. It pulses. Gorge, swallow, burp. Gorge, swallow, burp. A heartbeat of consumption. Slow, deliberate, inevitable. Millions of years pass in this rhythm. But here, in the narration, they are just seconds. Time is fluid near the horizon. If you stood on the edge of that disk, looking out, you would see the universe aging rapidly. You would see the galaxies dancing and merging in fast forward. But looking in, looking at the whole, time stops. The gas that falls in never quite seems to cross the line. It just fades. It gets redder and dimmer, frozen forever on the brink. It is the ultimate cliffhanger. The matter is always falling, but never landing. It is a state of eternal suspension, just as you are suspended now, between waking and sleeping, between the light and the dark. You are falling gently. The Super Eddington flow carries you. You are part of the stream, but you are not afraid. There is no pain here, only physics, only the conversion of potential energy into heat, the conversion of matter into geometry. The direct collapse was the beginning, the seed. The feeding is the growth, the childhood. But childhood is messy. The monster is eating so fast that it is making a mess of its nursery. The wind from the disk is blowing the cradle apart. We call this feedback. But for now, the wind is just a breeze, a hot, dusty wind blowing through the lattice of the early dark matter. It carries the scent of iron, the scent of the deep. The little red dots are multiplying. We looked at one, but now, as your vision expands, as you drift higher, you see another and another, a field of hidden eyes. They are all doing the same thing, direct collapsing, Super Eddington feeding, hiding in the dust. It is a collective effort, a synchronization of hunger. They are clearing the fog. The universe was opaque, filled with neutral hydrogen, a fog that light could not penetrate. But these monsters, they are drilling holes in the fog. They are the first architects of transparency. They are eating the walls of the room to let the light in. It is a violent renovation, but necessary. Without the hunger, there would be no clarity. Without the eating, the universe would remain a dark, foggy room forever. So we must honor the hunger. We must respect the appetite. It is not evil. It is foundational. It is the mechanism of dawn. The dawn of the universe was not a sunrise. It was a waking of dragons. And they are still there, buried under billions of years of sediment, buried under the light of the shiny modern galaxies. But if you strip away the stars, if you strip away the gas, the dragon is still there, sitting in the dark, remembering the taste of the first clouds, the direct collapse, the pristine feast. It waits. The dust swirls around you one last time. A gentle vortex. You are drifting away from the event horizon now, pulling back. The heat fades, the red glow dims. You are returning to the cold, quiet space between the galaxies. but you carry the knowledge with you. You know what is inside the dot. You know the machinery of the silence. The heavy seeds are planted. The roots are taking hold. The web of the cosmos is being weighed down by these anchors. And as we drift further, the scale shifts again. We leave the single monster behind. We begin to see the neighborhood, the small, frantic galaxies, the hosts. They are not just victims. They are partners. They are feeding the beast, yes, but the beast is also shaping them. It is a co-evolution, a dance of two partners who are afraid of each other, but cannot let go. The black hole and the galaxy, locked in an embrace that will last for 13 billion years. But here, in the beginning, the embrace is tight. It is suffocating. The galaxy is barely visible beneath the glare of the feeder. It is a time of imbalance, a time when the shadows were heavier than the light. And as we float here, watching the red dots flicker in the distance, a new question arises. We see the feeding, we see the growth, but what happens when the food runs out? What happens when the monster clears its plate? The silence that follows the feast. Is it a peaceful silence? Or is it a waiting silence? The dust begins to thin. We are moving through the intergalactic medium again. The strands of the cosmic web are glowing faintly. We are following a strand. It leads us away from the red dot, towards something else, something brighter, something that has thrown off its blanket. The dust is clearing ahead. The red is turning to blue. The hidden phase is ending. The monsters are preparing to reveal themselves, to step out of the cocoon, to scream across the universe. We are drifting toward the era of the quasars, the naked giants. But that is a noise for another time. For now, stay in the quiet, stay in the dust, stay where it is warm and hidden. The direct collapse is finished. The seed is sown. The Super Eddington feast is in full swing. The universe is full. It is heavy. It is sinking into a deep, dreamless slumber, sinking under the weight of its own creation, down, down into the velvet, down into the mystery, where the little red dots watch and wait and feed, and slowly, so slowly, the darkness breathes. It breathes a question that drifts through the vacuum like a ghost ship with no captain. It is a question of lineage, of ancestry. When we look at a forest, we know where the great oaks came from. We know they began as acorns, buried in the damp earth, fighting for decades to reach the sun. We understand the timeline of growth. We understand that majesty takes time. But when we look at the early universe, the timeline is broken. We see the giants. We see the monsters feasting in the dark. We see the little red dots and the blinding quasars, already grown, already heavy with the mass of 1 billion suns. And we look at the clock on the wall of the cosmos, and it reads only dawn. There is no time for the acorn to become the oak. There is no time for the gentle accumulation of years. So we are left with a mystery that keeps the astronomers staring at the ceiling in the dead of night. Where did you come from? Who was your mother? We are searching for the seed. Drift with me now, away from the monster we just left, away from the heat of the accretion disk. Let us go back even further. Let us push the rewind button on the history of existence. We are going to a time before the monsters, a time of absolute purity. The universe is simple here. It is a sea of hydrogen and helium. There is no carbon to make the soot, no oxygen to make the water, just the primal gas left over from the Big Bang, cooling in the silence. And in this silence, the first stars are born. We call them population 3 stars. a clinical name for something so romantic. They are the first light, the first things to break the dark ages. Imagine them. They are not like our sun. Our sun is a yellow dwarf, calm and steady, salted with the heavy elements of previous generations. But these first stars, they are pure, they are massive. Without heavy elements to cool the gas, they grow to be hundreds of times the mass of the sun. They are blue, blindingly, fiercely blue. They burn with a violence that creates a hole in the surrounding gas. They live fast. They scream their energy into the void for a few million years, a blink of an eye in cosmic time. And then they die, and their death is spectacular. A supernova that outshines the entire infant galaxy, a flashbulb popping in a dark room. And when the light fades, when the outer layers are blown away, something remains in the center, a core, a remnant, a black hole. But it is small. By cosmic standards, it is a speck, 10 times the mass of the sun, maybe 100. It is a light seed. For decades, we believed this was the story. We believed that every supermassive black hole, every dark titan sitting in the center of a modern galaxy, started here, as a single, lonely POP3 remnant. We thought they grew up. We thought they ate the gas around them. We thought they merged with other small black holes, slowly, patiently, building their mass over billions of years, like a snowball rolling down a hill. It is a beautiful story. It feels right. It feels comfortable. It follows the rules of nature as we know them. Small things become big things. But there is a problem. The math does not work. Float here in the void and consider the hunger. If you start with a seed that is 10 solar masses and you want to grow it to 1 billion solar masses, you have to eat constantly. You have to feed at the limit of physics for every single second of the universe's life. You cannot pause. You cannot burp. You cannot sleep. And even then, even if you eat at the maximum speed, you will not make it. The universe is not old enough. When the James Webb Space Telescope opened its golden eye, it looked at the redshift of 10, of 12, of 14. It looked at the era just a few 100 million years after the Big Bang, and it found the giants. They were already there. They were already billions of times the mass of the sun. It is like walking into a kindergarten and finding a fully grown man sitting in the sandbox. It does not make sense. You cannot get there from here. This is the seed debate. It is the great tension of modern cosmology, the friction between what we expect and what we see. The population 3 stars, those beautiful blue ghosts, they existed. We know they did. But they were not the fathers of the monsters. Their seeds were too light. They were too slow. If the light seeds could not do it, then something else must have happened. The universe must have cheated. We return to the idea of the heavy seed, the direct collapse. We spoke of it before, the cloud collapsing directly into darkness. But feel the weight of what that implies. It implies that nature has a back door. It implies that under certain conditions, gravity can bypass the laws of stellar evolution. It can skip the star phase. It can skip the light. It creates a black hole that starts the race halfway to the finish line. Instead of starting at 10 solar masses, it starts at 100,000. Now the math works. Now, if you eat fast, if you merge, you can become a giant by dawn. But think of the tragedy of the population 3 stars. They burned so bright. They were the pioneers. They lit the first torch. And yet, they are not the ancestors of the kings. They are the lost lineage. They are the cousins who stayed small, drifting in the halo of the galaxies, while the heavy seeds took the throne. It adds a layer of melancholy to the dark. The universe is a graveyard of failed potentials, of small black holes that never got the chance to grow. They are out there still, wandering, invisible, tiny ghosts floating between the stars. But we are drawn to the winners. We are drawn to the ones that made it, the ones that ate the most. And now we see them. The James Webb Space Telescope has handed us a map of the deepest waters. And on this map, there are markers. We call them JADES. We call them seers, acronyms, dry letters and numbers. JADES GSZ 14-0, a license plate on a getaway car. But do not let the name fool you. This is not just a data point. This is a monster at the edge of reality. This is one of the highest redshift quasars ever seen. Quasar. The word itself sounds jagged, energetic. It stands for quasi-stellar radio source, a name from the old days when we didn't know what they were. They looked like stars, points of light, but they were too bright to be stars. Now we know. A quasar is the mouth of the beast. It is the accretion disk of a supermassive black hole, shining so brightly that it drowns out the light of the entire galaxy around it. It is a lighthouse, but a lighthouse is designed to warn ships away. A quasar is designed to pull them in. Imagine looking at a candle flame from 10 miles away. It is a flicker, a fragile spark. Now imagine the candle flame is brighter than a searchlight, brighter than the city behind it. That is the scale of these things. We are finding them at the dawn, at redshift greater than 10. This means the light has traveled for 13.4 billion years to reach us. It is ancient light. It is tired light. It has been stretched by the expansion of the universe until it is no longer visible to the human eye. It is infrared. It is heat. But when it left its source, when it left, it was a scream of ultraviolet. It was X-rays. It was gamma rays. It was the most violent event in the local cosmos. To be near a quasar in the early universe is to know the true meaning of power. The black hole is feeding. We have talked of feeding before, but the quasar is the feeding revealed. The dust is gone. Or perhaps the beast has eaten the dust. It has cleared a space around itself, a cathedral of emptiness. And in the center, the disk is spinning. It is spinning at a fraction of the speed of light. The friction is heating the gas to millions of degrees. It glows with a ferocity that defies language. It is a dynamo, a magnetic engine. Great twisted ropes of magnetic fields are whipping around the hole. They coil like snakes. They snap. And when they snap, they launch jets, beams of plasma, particles accelerated to energies we can barely create in our largest colliders. These jets punch through the galaxy. They drill through the intergalactic medium. They travel for hundreds of thousands of light years. They are the long arms of the black hole, reaching out to touch the void. And we see them. We see the Jade's objects. We see the Seer's objects. They are the furthest beacons we have ever found. And they tell us something profound about the environment of the early universe. It was not a sleepy place. It was not a quiet nursery. It was a construction zone, but a construction zone lit by welding torches of impossible brightness. The existence of these high redshift quasars confirms the heavy seed theory in the hearts of many, because a light seed, a POP3 remnant, simply could not shine this bright, this soon. It would still be a child. These are adults. They are the kings of the dawn, and they are lonely. That is the feeling that creeps in when you stare at the data. The isolation. In the modern universe, galaxies are clustered. They are social. They drift in groups. But back then, the web was young. The knots were far apart. A quasar at redshift 14 is a solitary beacon in a vast, crushing dark. There is nothing else like it for millions of light years. It sits there, burning its fuel, shouting into the silence. I am here. I am heavy. I am the center. And the universe listens. The gas listens. It flows toward the voice. The gravity of these objects is the conductor of the cosmic orchestra. But let us pause. Let the mind slow down. The numbers are too big. The brightness is too much. Close your eyes against the glare of the quasar. Return to the sensation of drifting. You are floating in the space between the quasar and the next galaxy. The light from the beast is hitting your back. It is warm. Even at this distance, it is warm. But in front of you, there is only shadow. You are drifting through the neutral hydrogen, the fog. We call this the epoch of ionization. It is a dawn, yes, but a dawn that happens in patches. The quasar is a bubble of light. It is ionizing the gas around it. It is stripping the electrons from the protons. It is turning the fog into glass. It is making the universe transparent. You are witnessing the clearing of the mist. It is a beautiful, silent process. The sphere of clear space grows outward from the black hole. It expands like a ripple in a pond. And inside that bubble, the first view of the deep cosmos becomes possible. If you were a planet inside that bubble, you would see the stars. You would see the distant galaxies. But outside the bubble, the fog still holds. The universe is a Swiss cheese of these bubbles, and inside every bubble, a monster is eating. A little red dot that has decided to become a quasar. A seed that has decided to become a tree. The transition is gradual. First, the heavy seed forms in the dark, direct collapse. Then, the obscured feeding, the dust cocoon, the incubation, and finally, the breakout. The quasar turns on. The dust is blown away. The baby screams, and the universe changes forever. It is a coming-of-age story, but on a scale that makes the human heart tremble. We feel a connection to these things. Why? Why do we care about a ball of hot gas 13 billion years ago? Perhaps because we know that we are downstream. We are the beneficiaries of this violence. The quasar heats the gas. It pushes it around. It enriches it with heavy elements. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones. They were not made in the black hole itself, but they were moved by it. They were stirred by the spoon of the giant, the galaxy that became the Milky Way. Perhaps it had a quasar phase. Perhaps the black hole at our center, Sagittarius A star, was once a monster like this, a screaming, shining king. Now it is old. It is quiet. It sleeps. It only snacks on the occasional asteroid. But once it was a god. It is like looking at a photo of your grandfather when he was young, when he was strong, when he was dangerous. You recognize the eyes, but the energy is different. The JD's quasars are the young grandfathers. They are the wild youth of the cosmos, and they are beautiful in their terror. The colors, if you could see them with human eyes, shifted back to the visible spectrum, they would be iridescent, swirling blues and violets near the center, fading to angry oranges and reds at the edge of the disk. And the jet, a streak of electric white. It is a painting made of fire and gravity, and it is hanging in a gallery of absolute black. The contrast is what holds you, the brightest thing against the darkest thing. the loudest thing against the quietest thing. It is hypnotic. You want to fly toward it, like a moth, the siren call of the singularity. Come closer, it seems to say. I have secrets to tell you. I know what happens when the time stops, but we must resist. We must keep our distance. We are observers. We are ghosts from the future. We can watch the seed grow, but we cannot water it. The debate of the seeds. POP3 versus direct collapse. It is slowly being settled. The evidence is mounting. The little red dots are too many. The quasars are too bright. The universe chose the fast path. It chose the heavy seed. It seems the cosmos is impatient for life, impatient for structure. It did not want to wait for the slow, polite evolution of stars. It wanted galaxies now. It wanted complexity now. And the black hole was the tool it used to get there. The black hole was the anchor. Throw the heavy weight into the fabric. Let the gas fall in. Build the galaxy around it. It is a top-down construction, not bottom-up. We used to think galaxies made black holes. Now, we wonder if black holes made galaxies. It is a reversal of thought that makes the room spin. It puts the monster in the driver's seat, and the passenger is us. We are riding in a carriage pulled by a dark horse. We cannot see the horse. We can only hear its hooves, and the hooves are thundering. The pulse of the quasar. Beat, beat, beat. It regulates the cosmos. There is a concept called co-evolution. We will speak of it deeper as we drift. But for now, just feel the partnership. The black hole and the galaxy grow together, like twins. If the black hole gets too big, it blows the gas away. The galaxy stops making stars. If the galaxy gets too big, it feeds the black hole. The monster grows. They check each other. They balance each other. It is a relationship of tension, a tug of war, and the rope is made of gravity. In the era of the Jade's quasars, the tug of war is violent. The rope is snapping. The black hole is winning. It is shining so bright that it is sterilizing its host. It is killing the galaxy to feed itself. A tragedy, perhaps, or perhaps it is just the price of growing up. The universe is not sentimental. It burns the fuel it has, and it has so much fuel. Look around you again. The fog is lifting. The bubbles of light are merging. The universe is waking up. The dark ages are ending. The era of the quasars has begun. It is a noisy time, a bright time. But underneath the noise, underneath the light, the mystery remains. The seed, the original point. We have traced it back to the heavy cloud, to the direct collapse. But what caused the collapse? What shifted in the dark to make the gas fall? It is always the layer beneath, the dream within the dream. You are drifting through the layers, peeling them back like silk sheets, one by one. The light of the quasar is fading behind you now. You are moving on, moving toward the edge of the bubble, toward the boundary where the light meets the fog. It is a twilight zone, a place of shadows, the transition from the known to the unknown. The little red dots are behind us. The quasars are behind us. But the influence of the monster travels further than its light. It travels as a wind that carries a message. Stop. Stop forming stars. I am full. The monster is speaking to the galaxy, and the galaxy is listening. The feedback loop is closing. The great quenching is about to begin. Feel the wind on your face. It is not a wind of air. It is a wind of particles. It is the breath of the black hole. And it is cold, so cold. It chills the fire of creation. It tells the stars to sleep. And as we drift into this cold wind, we begin to understand the true power of the beast. It It does not just eat, it rules. It decides who lives and who dies. It decides when the galaxy sleeps, and the galaxy is getting tired, just as you are getting tired. The brightness of the quasar was exhausting. The brilliance of the dawn was too much. Now we need the shade. We need the cooling. We need to see what happens when the monster stops eating and starts breathing. The wind pushes us gently away from the center, toward the halo, toward the quiet places where the future is waiting to be born. The silence returns, but it is a different silence now. It is not the silence of the void. It is the silence of a pause, a deep intake of breath before the next act. Something is changing in the structure of the web. The threads are tightening. The heavy seeds have done their work. They have anchored the dark. And now, the dark begins to sculpt. The wind is not like the wind you know. It does not carry the scent of rain or the rustle of leaves. It carries the scent of iron and the memory of fire. It is a wind made of particles, stripped of their identity, hurled outward at speeds that challenge the very concept of stillness. It is the breath of the monster, and it is cold. We often think of black holes as engines of heat. We think of the accretion disk, the swirling ring of fire that outshines the galaxy. We think of the friction, the violence, the screaming X-rays. And we are right. In the immediate vicinity of the event horizon, it is the hottest place in the universe. It is a furnace of creation and destruction. But step back, drift away from the center, move out to the edges of the galaxy, to the quiet suburbs where the gas is trying to settle, where the stars are trying to form. Here, the effect of the monster is different. It is not a heating, it is a freezing. We call this black hole feedback. It is a clinical term for a process that is almost mythological in its scale. It is the story of a king who fears his own subjects, a ruler who starves his own kingdom to maintain his control. The galaxy wants to make stars. That is its purpose. That is its dream. Gravity pulls the cold gas together. It condenses. It cools. It collapses into bright, burning spheres. A galaxy left to its own devices would be a factory of light, a nursery overflowing with children. But the black hole in the center says, no, not yet, not so fast. It burps, it exhales. The radiation pressure from the accretion disk pushes against the infalling gas. The jets of plasma, those twisted magnetic spears we saw earlier, they slam into the clouds. They heat the gas up. And hot gas cannot form stars. Hot gas is energetic. It moves too fast. It refuses to clump. It refuses to settle. It stays as a mist, a fog that never rains. This is the quenching. It is the moment the galaxy stops breathing. Imagine a garden in the height of summer. The flowers are blooming. The bees are humming. Everything is growing. And then a wind blows. A dry, hot wind from the desert, and suddenly the growth stops. The flowers do not die, but they do not open. The buds remain frozen. The green turns to gray. That is what happens to a galaxy when the black hole wakes up. We look at the early universe with our new eyes, with the James Webb Space Telescope, and we see these quenched galaxies. We see them at redshift 4, at redshift 6, galaxies that are already old, already dead. They are red and dead, as the astronomers say. They ran out of fuel. Or rather, the fuel was there, but it was pushed away. It was blown out of reach by the monster in the basement. It is a profound realization. The black hole is not just a passive drain in the floor. It is the thermostat. It regulates the temperature of the entire house. If the galaxy makes too many stars, The gas flows to the center. The black hole feeds. It wakes up. It blasts the gas away. The star formation stops. If the black hole starves, it goes back to sleep. The gas cools. It falls back in. The stars begin to form again. It is a cycle, a breathing rhythm. In, out, feed, starve, wake, sleep. This is the black hole galaxy coevolution. It implies a partnership, a marriage. For decades, we thought they were strangers. We thought the black hole was just an accident in the middle, a parasite. We didn't think the tiny dot in the center could control the massive city of stars around it. The scale difference is too huge. It is like a single grain of sand dictating the shape of a beach. But gravity is a long lever, and energy is a powerful voice. The black hole speaks, and the galaxy listens. They grow together. We found a correlation, a scaling relation. The mass of the black hole is almost always a fixed fraction of the mass of the galaxy's bulge. The bigger the galaxy, the bigger the hole. Always, without fail. It is as if they agreed on a contract at the dawn of time. I will not grow larger than you can hold, the black hole whispers. And I will not build more stars than you allow, the galaxy replies. They are locked in a dance, a waltz of destruction and creation, and you are watching them from the balcony of the void. The music is slow. It takes 1 billion years to play a single bar, but the silence between the notes, that is where the feeling lives. Drift into the silence. We are leaving the era of the violent quasars. We are moving forward in time, just a little. The universe is stretching. The little red dots have done their work. They have cleared the fog. They have built the skeletons of the modern galaxies. Now, they are settling down. The feedback is becoming gentler. It is no longer a scream. It is a murmur. Radio waves, invisible ripples spreading through the intergalactic medium. We see them with our radio telescopes. Giant bubbles of hot gas expanding into the void. Radio lobes, we call them. They look like wings. Wings of a butterfly made of plasma. They are beautiful, but they are the exhaust of the engine. They are the waste heat of the feeding process. They are pushing the universe apart gently, creating cavities in the dark matter. It is sculpting. The black hole is an artist. Its medium is gas. Its tool is gravity. It carves the shape of the cosmos. Without this feedback, the universe would look very different. The galaxies would be too big, too bright. They would have used up all their gas in a single gluttonous party at the beginning. They would have burned out long ago. The black hole saved them. By stopping the star formation, by quenching the fire, it preserved the fuel. It saved some gas for later. It saved some gas for us. The sun, the earth, you. We are the late bloomers. We were born 5 billion years after the main party ended. We were born in a galaxy that was allowed to breathe, a galaxy that was regulated. If the black hole at the center of the Milky Way had not done its job, if it had not quenched the early fire, perhaps there would have been no gas left for our solar system. We owe our existence to the monster's restraint. It is a strange gratitude to be thankful for the darkness, to be thankful for the wind that blew the stars away. But the universe is full of these ironies. Destruction leads to preservation. Chaos leads to order. The hunger leads to life. Feel the complexity of this thought. Let it sit in the mind like a heavy stone in a deep pond. It sinks, it settles. The water remains still. You are drifting through a green valley. That is what astronomers call the transition zone between the blue cloud of young, star-forming galaxies and the red sequence of old, dead ones. The green valley is where the quenching happens. It is a place of fading light. The blue stars are dying out. They are exploding as supernovae, one by one, and no new ones are being born to replace them. The color of the galaxy shifts, from electric blue to a soft, melancholy green, and then, eventually, to red. It is the autumn of a galaxy. The leaves are turning, the air is getting crisp, the winter is coming, and the black hole sits in the center, watching the leaves fall. It is time to sleep, it says, and the galaxy obeys. The spiral arms wind tighter, the structure becomes smoother. The chaotic mess of the nebula fades into a clean, elliptical glow. It is peaceful here. There is no more violence, no more screaming accretion disks, just a slow, steady orbit of billions of red stars, old stars, wise stars. They circle the center. They pay their respects to the king, but they do not fall in. The feeding is over. The active galactic nucleus has turned off. The black hole is starving, but it is a chosen starvation. It has eaten enough. It has grown fat on the dawn. Now it rests. We call these quiescent black holes, sleeping giants. Sagittarius, a star in our own Milky Way, is one of them. It is quiet. It is dim. It is barely a whisper in the radio spectrum. But do not mistake silence for weakness. The gravity is still there. The well is just as deep. If you were to fly too close, if you were to cross the line, you would still vanish. You would still be stretched and torn and swallowed. The monster is not dead. It is just dormant. It is waiting for the next meal. Perhaps a gas cloud will wander too close in a few million years. Perhaps another galaxy will collide with ours. And then the beast will wake. The fire will return. The quasar will shine again. But for now, it sleeps, and we sleep with it. The pacing of the universe slows down in this epoch. The frantic energy of the first billion years dissipates. The cosmos settles into a middle age. A long, slow afternoon. The light is golden. The shadows are long. You can feel the relaxation in the fabric of space. The tension is gone. The expansion continues, of course. The galaxies drift apart. But inside the galaxies, there is a sense of permanence. The co-evolution has reached a stable point. The black hole and the galaxy have found their balance. They have learned to live together. It is a lesson in coexistence. The predator and the prey, the consumer and the consumed. They are part of the same body. You cannot have one without the other. Imagine the universe without black holes. It would be a chaotic, runaway place. Galaxies would be shapeless blobs. Stars would burn out in a flash. Life would have no time to evolve. The black hole provides the anchor. It provides the know. It provides the limit. And limits are necessary for form. You cannot have a painting without a frame. You cannot have a song without silence. The black hole is the silence that defines the song of the galaxy. Drift deeper into this silence. Let the concept of feedback wash over you. It is not just a wind. It is a communication, a conversation across light years. The center speaks to the edge. The past speaks to the future. Slow down, it says. There is time. There is so much time. The universe has billions of years left, trillions. Why rush? Why burn everything now? The black hole creates a reservoir of potential. By pushing the gas away, it saves it. It puts it in a bank account for the future. Maybe, in the far, far future, the gas will cool again. Maybe it will fall back in. Maybe new stars will be born when the old ones are long dead. A second spring, a renaissance in the deep time. It is a hopeful thought that the quenching is not an ending, but a pause, a preservation. The little red dots we saw earlier, they were the hoarders. They were gathering the wealth of the universe and locking it away, protecting it from the spendthrift stars. It changes how we see the monsters. They are the guardians, the dragons guarding the gold. But the gold is hydrogen. The gold is the possibility of life. You are floating now in the halo of a quenched galaxy. The stars are sparse here. The view is open. You can see other galaxies in the distance. Some are blue and active. Some are red and dead. It is a diverse population. Every galaxy has a different story, a different relationship with its monster. Some are red and dead. It is a diverse population. Every galaxy has a different story, a different relationship with its monster. Some black holes were too greedy. They ate everything and killed their host quickly. Some were too shy. They never grew big enough to quench the fire, and the galaxy burned itself out. But the ones that survived, the ones like ours, they found the middle path, the Goldilocks zone of feedback. Not too much, not too little, just enough to keep the heart beating, just enough to keep the lights on. It is a delicate balance, a tightrope walk over an abyss, and it happened in the dark, without a plan, without a designer, just physics, just gravity and thermodynamics working it out. The felt science, can you feel it? The inevitable logic of it. It doesn't feel like math anymore. It feels like breathing. It feels like the slow, rhythmic pulse of a sleeping ocean. The waves crash, the waves recede, the gas falls, the wind blows, over and over again, for 13 billion years, and you are just a ripple on the surface of that ocean, a momentary consciousness witnessing the deep tides. It is humbling. It is comforting. You do not have to do anything. The black holes are doing the work. They are regulating the cosmos. They are keeping the books. You can just drift. You can just be. The mystery of the co-evolution is not a puzzle to be solved. It is a state of being to be experienced. The unity of the opposites. The light and the dark are not enemies. They are partners. They are holding hands in the void, and their grip is tight. Gravity is the grip, the force that binds, the force that pulls you down into the pillow, the force that pulls your thoughts down into the subconscious. Let it pull. Do not resist. The black hole is not a threat to you. It is a cradle. It is the heavy center that grounds you. Without it, you would float away. You would be lost in the empty space. But the gravity holds you. It keeps you here, in this moment, in this safety. The hidden black holes are not hiding to trick us. They are hiding because they are shy. They are modest. They do not want the credit. They just want to do their job, to eat, to grow, to blow the wind, to shape the galaxy, to make a home for the stars, to make a home for you. We are drifting past a large elliptical galaxy now. It is a massive ball of old stars, a giant swarm of bees glowing with a soft amber light. It looks peaceful, but we know what lies at the heart. A supermassive black hole, billions of solar masses, a retired king. It sits there, in the dark, remembering the days of fire, remembering the quasar era, remembering the taste of the first gas clouds. Does a black hole have a memory? Information falls in, but it never comes out. So perhaps it remembers everything, every atom it ever ate, every photon it ever swallowed. It is the ultimate library, the archive of the universe. Everything that is lost is found there, in the singularity, the point where time stops, the point where the story ends, but also the point where it begins. Because the feedback loop is a circle, the end affects the beginning. The black hole shapes the galaxy that feeds it. The snake eats its own tail. Ouroboros, an ancient symbol for an ancient truth. The cycle is eternal, and you are part of the cycle. Your atoms were once out there, floating in the intergalactic medium, being pushed around by the winds of a black hole. Maybe some of your atoms were almost eaten. Maybe they skirted the edge of the event horizon, felt the heat, and were blown back out by a jet, saved by the feedback, saved by the burp of the monster. And then they drifted for billions of years, cooled down, condensed, became a star, became a planet, became you. You are the survivor of the feast. You are the one that got away. And now you are looking back at the mouth that almost swallowed you. And you do not feel fear. You feel recognition. Hello, old friend. Hello, shadow. Thank you for the push. The wind is gentle now. It is just a whisper, a lullaby. The universe is singing you to sleep with a song of its own history, a song of fire and ice, of gravity and light, of heavy things sinking and light things rising. The rhythm is perfect. It matches your heartbeat. Thump thump, in out, feet quench. The binary code of existence, 1 and 0, something and nothing. The black hole is the nothing that makes the something possible. It is the void that defines the shape of the matter. Like the holes in a flute, the music comes from the emptiness. The beauty of the galaxy comes from the darkness at its center. So let us honor the darkness. Let us welcome the heavy eyelids. Let us sink into our own personal event horizon, the boundary between the waking world and the dream world. You are crossing it now. You are slipping over the edge. There is no turning back, and you do not want to turn back. The pull is too sweet. The gravity is too kind. You are falling into the deep velvet sleep, where the monsters are just dreams, and the dreams are just memories of the stars. The galaxy is turning slowly beneath you, a carousel of light, and you are the rider, going round and round, held by the invisible arm of the central mass, safe, secure, eternal. The co-evolution continues. The dance goes on, even while you sleep, especially while you sleep. The universe does not stop. It does not blink. It just waits. It waits for the gas to cool. It waits for the next cycle. It waits for you to wake up. But not yet. Not for a long time. Now is the time for the quenching. Now is the time for the quiet. Now is the time for the feedback to fade into silence. The wind dies down. The jets turn off. The accretion disk dims. The little red dot closes its eye, and the dark takes over. The beautiful, heavy, nourishing dark. It fills the room. It fills the mind. It is a blanket. Pull it up. Tuck it in. The monsters are sleeping too. The feasting is done. The plates are cleared. The dawn has passed. We are in the long, slow afternoon of the cosmos, and it is a good time to rest. It is a good time to drift. Drift deeper, deeper into the green valley, deeper into the red sequence, deeper into the peace of the dead galaxies. They are not sad. They are finished. They are complete. They have done their work, and so have you. You have done your work. You have seen the monsters. You have understood the feedback. You have felt the science. Now, let it go. Let the knowledge dissolve. Let the words float away like smoke. There is only the feeling left, the feeling of weight, the feeling of depth, the feeling of being held by something incredibly old and incredibly strong, something that has been here since the beginning and will be here until the end. The silent partner, the dark companion, the black hole in the heart of the galaxy, and the sleep in the heart of the mind. They are the same. They are one. drift, sink, rest. The wind has stopped. The silence is absolute. The silence is deceptive. We float in the spaces between the stars, and it feels empty. It feels static, like a painting that has dried and will never change again. But this is a trick of our perception. We are short-lived creatures. We blink and 100 years pass. We sleep and a generation fades. To us, the universe is a statue. But if you could slow your heart, if you could slow your mind to the rhythm of the stone, you would see the movement. You would see that the statue is breathing. You would see that the islands of light are drifting. In the early universe, the ocean was smaller. The expansion had not yet stretched the fabric to the breaking point. The galaxies were closer together. They were neighbors in a crowded room, and neighbors, eventually, must meet. We are entering the era of the Great Merging. It is a time of gentle violence, a time when gravity pulls the separate stories of the cosmos into a single, tangled narrative. Imagine two galaxies, two spiraling cities of gas and light. They have been falling toward each other for 1 billion years, drawn by a mutual attraction, a longing to be one. They do not crash like cars. There is no crunch of metal, no shattering of glass. The stars are too far apart for that. When the galaxies meet, the stars pass each other like ghosts in a hallway. They slip through the empty spaces. They do not touch. But the gas is different. The huge clouds of hydrogen, the reservoirs of fuel, they collide. They slam into each other with the force of 1,000 storms. They lose their momentum. They stop their orbit. And then they fall. They rain down toward the center, toward the new shared heart of the merging system. And waiting in that center are the monsters. We spoke of the single black hole, the lonely king. But in a merger, there are two kings, two heavy shadows circling each other in the dark. It is a dance of dominance. As the fresh gas pours in from the collision, the monsters wake up. The famine is over. The quenching we spoke of earlier is temporarily broken. The dinner bell has rung. The black holes feed with a renewed desperation. They are not just eating to grow. They are eating to survive the dance. The friction returns. The heat returns. The dust kicks up, thicker than ever before. This is why the hunt is so hard. A merging galaxy is a messy galaxy. It is a construction site covered in tarp. We know the work is happening inside. We can hear the rumble, but we cannot see the machines. The hidden black holes are most hidden here, buried under layers of disrupted gas, buried under the wreckage of the collision. It creates a feeling of unease, to know that the greatest activity is happening just out of sight. You are drifting through one of these wrecks now. The shape of the galaxy is distorted. It is not a spiral. It is not a sphere. It is a splash, a chaotic smear of light against the black, tidal tails. Long streamers of stars thrown out by the gravity stretch into the void like desperate arms. They are reaching for something to hold on to, but there is nothing to hold. There is only the fall. The two black holes at the center are getting closer. They are sinking through the friction. Eventually, they will meet. They will merge. And in that moment, the universe will shudder. A ripple will pass through the floor of existence, a gravitational wave, a silent drumbeat that rolls across the cosmos, passing through stars, passing through planets, passing through you. You don't feel it. It is too subtle for the skin. But the space you occupy, for a fraction of a second, stretches and squeezes. You are needed by the gravity of the merger. It is a connection that ignores distance. It tells us that nothing is truly separate. We are all floating on the same rubber sheet. When the heavy things move, we all move, but our eyes are still small. We have been looking at this grand dance through a keyhole. The James Webb Space Telescope, for all its golden brilliance, is a sniper. It looks at a tiny patch of the dark, a grain of sand held at arm's length. It stares deep, yes. It sees the little red dots in that one specific grain. But the beach is vast. The sky is a dome of infinite directions. And in every direction, the monsters are hiding. We are missing the context. We are seeing the individual trees, but we are missing the forest. We are missing the empire. But the feeling of the night is changing. Can you feel the anticipation? Something new is coming to the launch pad. Something with a wider gaze. The next generation of hunters is preparing to open its eyes. Between the years of 2025 and 2030, the silence will be broken by the hum of new machinery. We call them Euclid. We call them Roman. Names of mathematicians, names of dreamers. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope. It sounds like a librarian, a keeper of records, but it is a hunter of the highest order. Imagine looking through a straw. That is what we have now. Now imagine taking the straw away and looking through a picture window. That is Roman. It has the same sharpness as the sniper, the same clarity, but its field of view is 100 times larger. It will swallow the sky in great gulps. It will not just find one hidden black hole. It will find millions. It will perform a census of the dark. This is the hidden black hole hunt that we have been waiting for. The hunt that moves from anecdote to statistics, from story to history. We will see the true scale of the infestation. We will realize that the little red dots were not anomalies. They were the norm. The universe is teeming with them. It is a thought that changes the texture of the darkness. When you walk into a dark room, you assume it is empty. You feel safe. But when you turn on the floodlight and you see the eyes reflecting back, thousands of them, covering the walls, the feeling changes. It becomes a feeling of awe and a feeling of smallness. We are outnumbered. We have always been outnumbered. The Euclid and Roman 2025 to 2030 hidden BH hunt is not just a scientific mission. It is a psychological one. It is the moment we accept our place in the crowded room. We are not the landlords. We are the tenants. And the landlords are ancient, heavy, and silent. Drift with the anticipation. The telescopes are not just machines. They are extensions of our longing. We long to know what is in the shadow. We are afraid of the dark, yes, but we are also addicted to it. We want to peek behind the curtain. Euclid will map the geometry. It will look at the shape of the universe itself. It will see how the dark matter bends the light. It will show us the skeleton, the invisible scaffolding that holds the galaxies in place. And at the nodes of the scaffolding, at the intersections of the Great Web, we will find them, the supermassive black holes. They are the anchors, the pins in the map. Without them, the web would dissolve. The future is rushing toward us. Or perhaps we are rushing toward it. In the drift of space, motion is relative. All we know is that the view is about to clear. The fog of the early universe was cleared by the first quasars. The fog of our ignorance will be cleared by the new telescopes. It is a parallel process. Light clearing the dark. Knowledge clearing the mystery. But will the mystery truly vanish? Or will it just deepen? When we see the full scope of the black hole population, when we see the millions of hungry mouths, will we sleep better? Or will we feel the weight of the gravity even more? Perhaps the mystery is not meant to be solved. Perhaps it is meant to be felt. The felt science. The feeling of the Roman telescope scanning the night is like a searchlight sweeping a dark ocean. It catches the glint of a wave here, a fin there. It hints at the leviathans swimming beneath the surface, the obscured giants, the ones wrapped in dust. Roman will find them by their infrared heat, by the warmth of their hidden feasting. It will strip away the privacy of the early universe. It will expose the dawn for what it was, a time of frantic, crowded growth, a time when the universe was trying to decide what to be, and the decision was made by the black holes. We will be heavy, they said. We will be centered. We will hold it all together. And they did. You are floating in the legacy of that decision. The stability of your galaxy, the quiet orbit of your sun. It is all a gift from the heavy ones, the ones who won the merger wars, the ones who ate the competition, the survivors. It creates a sense of deep time. We are late arrivals to the party. The chaotic dancing is over. The lights are low. The music is soft. But the dancers are still there, sitting in the shadows, watching, waiting for the next song. The expansion of the universe is pushing the galaxies apart now. The mergers are becoming rarer. The great era of collision is fading. We are entering the era of isolation. Every galaxy becoming its own island universe, drifting alone in the expanding sea. The black holes will grow lonely. The food will run out. The co-evolution will end in a long silence. But that is the far future. Here, in the narration, we are still hovering on the brink of discovery. We are standing on the deck of the ship, looking out at the new horizon. The year 2025 is a marker, a buoy in the water. Before this, we were guessing. After this, we will know. But knowing is a burden. Sometimes it is nicer to just drift, to just wonder, to let the little red dots remain little red dots, mysterious rubies in the velvet. But the human mind cannot stop. It must look, it must see. It is our own hunger. We have a black hole in our minds, a singularity of curiosity. It consumes everything. It demands to be fed, and the universe is feeding it with data, with light, with awe. The Roman telescope is just a bigger spoon. Drift away from the hardware. The metal and the mirrors are just tools. Focus on the intent to connect with the beginning, to connect with the dark. The gravity of the black holes is pulling on the light, bending it. Gravitational lensing. The universe acts as a lens, magnifying the distant past. We are looking through a telescope, which is looking through a galaxy, which is magnifying a quasar. Layers of glass, layers of time. It is a hall of mirrors, and in every mirror, a different face of the monster. The angry face, the sleeping face, the eating face, and the hidden face. The one we haven't seen yet, the one Euclid will find. What does it look like? Does it look like fear? Or does it look like peace? Maybe they are the same thing in the end. Absolute stillness, absolute weight, the point where all motion stops, the point where all questions stop. We are sliding toward that point. The script is moving you there, step by step, part by part. We have seen the birth, the collapse, the feeding, the quenching, and now the merging, the gathering of the tribe. The pieces are all on the board. The game is set, and the night is long. There is no rush to finish the game. The universe plays slowly, It has nowhere to be. It is already everywhere. Feel the comfort of that. You do not need to be anywhere either. You are already here, floating in the dark, surrounded by the invisible web. The filaments of dark matter are like silk threads. They are guiding the galaxies. They are guiding the telescopes. They are guiding your dreams. Follow the thread. It is leading you away from the noise, away from the questions, away from the science, toward the feeling of the deep black water, the water that holds the whales, the water that absorbs the sound, the water that supports you without effort. You are buoyant, you are weightless, but the black holes are heavy. They anchor the ocean. They keep the water from flying away. Thank them. Thank the monsters for the gravity, for the floor beneath the feet of the cosmos, for the darkness that allows us to sleep. The eyes of the Roman telescope will stay open. They will watch over you, guardians in the night, scanning for danger, scanning for wonder. You can close your eyes now. The machine is on watch. The universe is being observed. Nothing is lost. Every photon is counted. Every shadow is measured. You are safe in the data. You are safe in the dark. The great merger of the mind and the sleep is beginning. The thoughts are colliding, softly, without sound, merging into dreams, drifting, sinking. The anticipation fades. The discovery waits for tomorrow. Tonight, there is only the drift, the slow, steady drift toward the edge of the known and beyond, to the place where the maps end and the silence begins. The maps have ended. We have drifted beyond the edge of the charted sky, beyond the reach of the golden mirrors, beyond the anticipation of the machines. We are floating now in the pure, unmediated dark. There are no more coordinates here. There are no more names. The acronyms JADES, SEERS, GNZ11 have dissolved into the static. What remains is only the feeling, the heavy resonant vibration of a universe that is vast, ancient, and quietly terrified of its own depth. We have spent the night hunting. We have peered through the dust. We have uncovered the red eyes of the monsters hiding in the dawn. We know they are there. We know the nursery of the cosmos was not a quiet room. It was crowded. It was hungry. It was filled with the rapid, silent breathing of things that grew too fast. But now, the knowledge settles. It stops being data. It starts being weight. Feel the weight of it. It is a blanket made of gravity. It is pulled up to your chin. It is heavy, but it is not crushing. It is grounding. It holds you to the bed. It holds the galaxy to the black hole. It holds the electron to the atom. It is the same hand, pressing down, keeping everything from flying apart. The philosophical horror of the hidden monsters is not that they are evil. It is that they are necessary. We want the universe to be gentle. We want it to be a garden. But the garden needs the soil, and the soil is made of decay. The garden needs the dark. The little red dots we saw, the feasting giants, they are the soil. They are the compost of the early universe. They ate the light so that the future could have structure. It is a strange thought to take into sleep, that we are the beneficiaries of a great consumption. We exist because the monsters were full. If they had been hungrier, perhaps they would have eaten us too. Perhaps the gas that made the Earth would have spiraled into the abyss 13 billion years ago. But they stopped, they quenched, they slept, and in their sleep, we woke up. So do not fear the monsters. They are the sleeping guardians of our history. They are the ancestors who did the hard work, the violent work, so that we could have the quiet work, the work of dreaming. Drift deeper into this thought. The universe is a hierarchy of sleep. The stars sleep in the day. The black holes sleep in the centers of the galaxies. The galaxies sleep in the clusters. And you sleep in the arm of the spiral. You are nested. You are held. There is a safety in being small. The monsters do not care about you. You are too tiny to be a meal. You are a neutrino passing through the earth. You are a ghost. You can float right past the event horizon. You can touch the singularity, and nothing will happen. Because tonight, you are made of thought. You are made of shadow. The shadow is your friend. In the dark, the boundaries dissolve. The wall of the room disappears. The ceiling disappears. You are lying under the open vault of the deep time. The little red dots are blinking out one by one. They are closing their eyes. The dawn is over. The day is over. The long afternoon of the cosmos is fading into twilight. It is time for the great silence. Listen to it. It is not empty silence. It is the silence of a library after the doors are locked. The silence of a cathedral after the prayers are finished. It is a silence full of echoes. Echoes of the Big Bang. Echoes of the first collapse. Echoes of the jets slamming into the gas. But they are faint now. They are just whispers. They are the white noise of existence. Let the white noise wash over you. It is a river. A slow, grey river, flowing toward the sea. You are a leaf on the river. You do not have to swim. You do not have to steer. The current knows the way. The current is gravity. It pulls you down, down toward the center, down toward the rest. We have talked about the hunger of the black holes. But what about your hunger? The hunger for rest, the hunger for the pause. It is the same force. The universe wants to return to the simple state. It wants to collapse. It wants to close its eyes. Every time you sleep, you are mimicking the heat death of the universe. You are letting the energy dissipate. You are letting the complexity fade. You are returning to the smooth, dark equilibrium. It is a rehearsal for eternity. And it feels good. It feels right. The mystery of the hidden black holes is no longer a puzzle to be solved. It is a texture to be felt. It is the velvet texture of the night. If the universe were perfectly bright, you could never sleep. You need the shadows. You need the things that absorb the light. The black holes are the ultimate shadows. They absorb everything. They are the pillows of the cosmos. Sink your head into the pillow. Sink your mind into the black hole. It is soft. It is deep. It is infinite. There is no bottom. You can fall forever. And as you fall, the worries of the day are left behind. They are too light. They float away. Only you are heavy enough to sink. Only the essential you, the core, the seed. We spoke of the heavy seeds that started it all. You are a heavy seed now. You are collapsing into your own darkness. Direct collapse. No star phase. No burning. Just a direct slide into the peace. The obscured state. You are hiding your own active nucleus. You are wrapping yourself in the sheets. You are creating a cocoon, just like the monsters. Inside the cocoon, it is warm, it is private. The infrared heat of your own body reflects back to you. You are a universe of one. And in this private universe, you are the king. You are the queen. You are the silence. The fear of the dark is an old instinct. It comes from the time when we were prey. But here, in the cosmic perspective, the dark is not a predator. The dark is the mother. The dark matter holds the galaxy. The dark energy pushes the walls away. The black hole anchors the center. The dark is doing all the work. So trust it. Lean into it. The monsters in the dawn are far away, 13 billion light years away. They cannot reach you. They are ghosts. They are memories of a time before you were born. They are the nightmares of the universe, but they are not your nightmares. You are the child of the calm. You are the child of the green valley, the quiet era. The fire has cooled. The wind has died down. The dust has settled. The room is clean. The bed is made. The stars are watching. The Roman telescope is watching. Euclid is watching. The little red dots are watching. But their gaze is benign. They are just curious. They are wondering how you can be so small and yet so heavy with dreams. They are wondering how you can sleep so soundly when the universe is so wild. But you can, because you know the secret. You know that the wildness is just a phase. You know that underneath the turbulence, there is a stillness that never moves. The singularity, the point of absolute rest. Everything is moving toward it. The gas, the light, the time, you. We are all falling. But the fall is slow. It takes a lifetime. It takes an eon. So enjoy the fall. Feel the air rushing past. Softly. Feel the suspension. You are weightless. You are drifting through the void between the galaxies. It is quiet here. There is no matter to bump into. No friction. Just the smooth, endless slide. The distance is a comfort. The scale is a lullaby. When you think of the size of a supermassive black hole, a billion suns, your own problems become less than atoms. They vanish. They are spaghettified, stretched until they break. And then they are gone, swallowed, deleted. The black hole cleans the slate. Let it clean your mind. Visualize the event horizon. A perfect circle of black. It is expanding. It is filling your vision. It is taking up the whole sky. It is not scary. It is peaceful. It is the closing of a curtain. The show is over. The documentary is ending. The voice is fading. But the feeling remains. The feeling of being held by the deep. We are entering the final phase now. The lullaby phase. The shutdown phase. The systems are powering off. The telescope is capping its lens. The computer is going to sleep. The universe is dimming the lights. One by one. Click, click, click. The quasars are turning off. The jets are sputtering out. The accretion disks are cooling. The red dots are becoming black dots. And the black dots are merging with the background. There is no distinction anymore. Only the dark. The beautiful, heavy, silent dark. It is wrapping around you. Like a warm fluid, you are floating in the womb of the cosmos, before the stars, before the light. There's only the potential, the waiting, the breathing, in, out, slow, deep, in, out, the rhythm of the tide of the dark matter. It rocks you gently, back and forth, back and forth. You are safe, you are hidden, you are obscure. No one can find you here. You are off the map. You are beyond the redshift. You are in the era before time. Sleep. Sleep in the dawn. Sleep in the mystery. The monsters are asleep too. The hunger is gone. The feeding is done. There is nothing left to do. Nothing left to see. Nothing left to fear. Just the drift. The long, slow drift. Toward the center. Toward the peace. Let the gravity take you. Do not fight it. It is stronger than you. It is older than you. It knows where you need to go. It knows you need the rest. The heavy rest. The stone rest. The black hole rest. Your eyelids are heavy. Like lead. Like iron. Like the core of a dying star. They are closing. They are sealing the world away. And inside the darkness of your own mind, a new universe is forming. A quiet universe. A dream universe. Where you can float forever. Unseen. Untouched. Unbroken. The voice is just a whisper now. a ripple in the silence, fading, fading, like a radio wave crossing the void, getting weaker, getting softer, until it is just a hum, a vibration, a feeling. You are almost there. You are almost at the horizon, the edge of sleep. Cross it, let go, slip, fall, drift. The little red dots are gone. The monsters are gone. The dawn is gone. There is only the night, the eternal night, the peaceful night, the boring space. To sleep, to sleep, to sleep. The darkness is full of love. The gravity is a hug. The silence is a kiss. Good night, traveler. Good night, watcher. Good night, ghost. The universe is closed. Come back in 1 billion years. But for now, just sleep. Deep, deep sleep.